My name is Surya, and I'll be guiding you through the various features of this platform and telling you how to use it. Thank you. Welcome to Geneo. Let's get started. So to begin with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a standard web browser. In this case, I'm using Chrome. I would like you to do is go into Help and About Chrome and make sure that you have the latest version and it's up to date, and therefore you know that your browser is up to date. The second is to go to the Geneo student site, which is student.geneo.in. On this site, what you will see is there is the possibility of a sign up for those people who have not signed up on the Geneo platform, or you can log in using your Facebook or Gmail credentials directly. In this case, I'm going to use my login, and this will take me to the landing page. This is the main page of Geneo from where the students can select different standards. We have standard 8th, 9th and 10th. We cover CBSE, English medium, using the NCERT text. We also have subjects of math, science and English that we cover in this platform. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to select chapter standard 10 and science. I can do a remember my settings here, in which case it will skip this landing page the next time you log in and take you directly into the textbook. We also have a feature of my profile here, and I will talk about this in a bit, where I will show you the different possibilities under my profile and the different settings that you can put in there. So let's go ahead and select 10 standard and science and say done. And so what we first see is we see the NCERT textbook for 10 standard science. And the few buttons that we have here are to resume your previous session. So if you've logged in previously into this and were working on a particular chapter, you can jump directly to that chapter by hitting your resume button. At any point of time, you will see on all of these screens a question mark with a little arrow. This is your help, and this is context sensitive. That means that whenever you click on this help, it will tell you based on the pages that you are currently, the different kinds of things you can do on this particular page. So please feel free to use your help as often as you need to. Now I'm going to click on the textbook, which gets me to the content, the table of contents, which is the beginning of the textbook. And as you can see that the pages are arranged according to NCERT, the textbook that you follow in school. I'm going to take chapter 13 as my first part. And as it loads, what you can see is that the user interface has changed a little bit. So in the center of your screen, you see the actual textbook, and you see a ribbon of buttons on the top, and I'll explain what these buttons are. And also a little set of interactive tabs here that says add-ons, interactives, assessments and videos, and I'll explain what this is as well. So let's go to page 224, and as you can see that as soon as I've clicked on this page, my videos, add-ons, interactives all have a number above them. This number tells me the number of videos that are attached to this page, and we have taken content from 7-8 different content sources and mapped them onto your textbook for your convenience. So in this case, we have mapped two kinds of video that are relevant to this particular page. In this case, K-class videos, and this is from Khan Academy. We'll get into videos in a second, but let me go down this page and show you. So as a student, normally when you look at a textbook, there are a few things you'd like to do with your textbook. So one is you'd like to actually take and underline certain pieces of text that are important. You could choose different colors for underlining. Also, another thing that you can do is if you want, you can highlight different sections. So this is easy to read because you know that they've been highlighted again You get a choice of different highlights, so you can have red for equations, green for examples, blue for mathematics, and you can choose different color combinations based on your preference. We also give you an eraser tool here, so in case you underlined or highlighted something by mistake, you can hold the mouse button down and you can erase what's on the page. And this works equally for text and underline and highlights. So this is basically how one would underline and highlight on your textbook. Another thing that students really like to do with their textbook is to create bookmarks. So normally we would take the corner of the page and fold it down. In this case, you can set a bookmark here by adding a bookmark. Because once you've bookmarked a page, the system will tell you that you already have a bookmark in existence. This bookmark can be moved around to your convenience, and you can keep it anywhere you want on the page. The last point that I would like to make here is that students like to take notes, and they would like to associate their notes with actual pages or actual paragraphs or activities inside their textbook. Now this is not possible in a conventional textbook because you've got very limited amount of space in the margins, in the side and the top. And with Geneo, what we can do is that we can have any number of notes that you can make, and you can attach and drag and drop them to wherever you'd like. To make a note, highlight the note. You'll see that there's a yellow highlight around the note icon which tells you that this particular function is active. If you take your mouse over it, you'll see a little tooltip which says it's note. And then come anywhere in the page and then double click for the note. Here what I'm going to do is quickly just create a note for you. Now at this point of time in the note, we can do a couple of things. We can save this note, obviously, and now this note is here. We can now move it around. Some students like to arrange all their notes on the top of the page, but some students will say this particular note is relevant to this image, so I'm going to have this note be as part of this image. You're welcome to free to use your notes, as many of them on a page as you want, and place them wherever you want on the page. You can always drag and drop them to a new location of your choice. The other things that you can do with the note are, sometimes now once you've created a note, we have to go into the edit mode to go back to editing the note, and you'll see that all of a sudden we've got more icons here which I'm going to explain to you in a second. Sometimes, especially in the areas of math and physics, you'll have places where you need to put in mathematical notations into your notes, and you can do that very simply by either typing in the notation, and I'll show you what that notation is in a second, and you can see that it has taken that sum within the reverse quote. The reverse quote is there on the left of your number 1 key on your keyboard, and you can see that it's converted this to the summation symbol. Or what we could do is go back into the edit mode and then use what we call a WYSIWYG editor, which is basically an editor that shows you all these symbols, and you can pick and choose from these symbols. So I can create another, and you can see that by clicking on the symbol, it has put in the exact same sum that I typed earlier, and in the same notation. We have Greek letters and different kinds of symbols that we want, and we can choose from here. Or let's go ahead and close the symbol editor. Or what we have is something called a cheat sheet. Let me move the note around, and that has signified with a question mark. And this cheat sheet very quickly tells you if you type something within the reverse quote, then this is what it will appear as. So this is a quick cheat sheet to use, And as you start using it and making yourself more familiar with these, you'll find that typing it out as backquote sum n backquote is a much easier option than going and clicking on a button every time. But initially, to familiarize yourself with that, so I'm going to just say save here. And then when I open up my note, you will see that we have put in things with other notations in here as well. So there's an equivalent sign and a couple of different summations. So this can be used very effectively to write mathematics and physics equations and other things that you might want to write using the symbol editor. Another feature of this note is that, let's say the student is in class and you've taken 4 or 5 pages of notes in class where the teacher was actually teaching this particular piece of text. You don't want to come back and then retype everything into the Geneo environment. You need to have some way of taking and capturing those pieces of text from your exercise book and attaching them as notes. So here you can find that there's a little attachment which looks like a gem clip. I can click on that, and what it does is that it pulls up a standard web browser, and I can go and I can look at pictures, or I can look at different things from my computer, and I can attach these pictures onto my notes themselves. So just as an example, I'm going to go and take a picture, go ahead and attach it there, and then I hit, as you can see, that it's created a little notation for me. Don't worry about what it says, and we can go ahead and continue. And let's go ahead and save our note. At this point, the note not only has our text but also our images, and we are free to look at those images and pull those images out. So this basically covers what you can do with the textbook. Also, do understand that as you flip through the various pages of this textbook, you'll find that the videos and the add-ons and the interactives keep changing. This is because different videos and different interactives are mapped onto different pages. So on this particular page, we find that there is a video that's relevant to this particular section. So now let's spend some time talking about the different kinds of videos that are there in the Geneo learning environment. We have animation videos, which are basically, I've gone ahead and clicked on that video. You can see that little video window has popped up. And
let's discuss the magnetic lines of force for a circular conductor.
I'm going to pause it here. So in this video window, you can see a couple of things. One is that you can move
We need a rectangular piece of cardboard.
You can move it around, and this allows you for easy viewing of the text in the background. So you can move the text around, you can move the video window around, and you can also see the window while you're reading your textbook in the background. Other things that you can do with this are you can rate the quality of the video. So, and this is not necessary or mandatory, but you could rate the quality of the video as good, medium, or poor, and you can also rate the audio quality. If you are using Geneo in the mobile environment or with the limited bandwidth connectivity, we would suggest that going to this auto button here and clicking on it gives you different options, and you can see that you can choose a speed all the way down to 96 kilobits per second, which is low quality video but ideally suited for environments in which you have less than a 3G connection. Or you can step it up and go all the way up to high definition 1080p video if you have a good internet connection and a stable one from where you're viewing this. Or you could stay in the windowed mode. The windowed mode I find is more convenient because I'm able to move the window with the video playing and actually read my text and watch the video at the same time. So I find this more convenient. But I'd let you as the student choose your level of convenience with this. You also have something called context, where you can tell the Geneo team whether you thought that this video was relevant to this particular page of text or whether it was irrelevant. Again, all these pieces of information that you provide for us is non-mandatory, but it will help us make Geneo a better product. In case this video has a few lines of text explaining what the video is about, you'll be able to see that here. So this is videos in general. Going a little forward, I will tell you the different kinds of video we have on our platform. But for right now, let's move to the second section of our ribbon called add-ons. In this, we have two kinds of add-ons that we have here. I'm going to show you the first one. This is something called mind maps. Let me go ahead and click on a mind map. And mind maps are to be read from the top right hand corner in a clockwise manner. So you will find that magnetic effects of electric current, and this is the second mind map. You can say force on a conductor by a magnet depends upon the direction of the current and the magnetic field. So this is a very easy symbolic way of understanding the relationship between various concepts. And again, your mind maps are all mapped to the pages of your textbook. Your mind map comes in individual sections. So you'll see that this is part 1 of magnetic fields and a mind map that covers the entire chapter. So please feel free to explore this wonderful way of learning through mind maps. The other is that sometimes we will have excuse me, we will have 3D models for you. So for example, in this case, the right hand thumb rule is being explained. But in a two-dimensional form, it's very hard for a student to understand exactly where the thumb is and how the magnetic lines of field are going. So if you click on the 3D models, what will happen is you'll get a 3D model by which you can just hold your left mouse button down and you can rotate this and understand the diagram in a more detailed and better way. You can use the center of your mouse, which is the center button or the wheel, to zoom in or zoom out. And also these again will change. So as I go to a different page, 232 in this case, you'll find that I've got now a model open, electric motor. Again, you can hold the left mouse key down and you can zoom and rotate into the model. You can also go into and zoom into the model and understand it in greater detail. So that has my interactives. The last part of my ribbon here is something called assessments. In this case, I can take a quick assessment of 10 questions on this particular chapter and see how well I fare. I have also taken assessments in the past that you can see, and for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to put up one of my assessments and I can double click on this. This shows me the assessment I've taken in the past with the questions I got correct, signified by the green button in the bottom, and questions that I got incorrect, signified by the red buttons in the bottom. So I can go to the questions that I got incorrect and see which option I had selected and which was the correct one. So this helps me revise questions that I got incorrect in the past. I can also take a brand new assessment, in which case I get 10 questions and I'm given 9 minutes to finish them. I'm going to go ahead and do these questions. Once you go to the next, you can either jump to a particular question here, or you can go directly to question number 8 and then decide that you want to come back to question 3. So we allow you to jump back and forth just like an exam paper. When you're done with all the questions and you feel that you've had a fair shot at this assessment, you can go ahead and hit submit. It says you've not attempted 5 questions here out of the 10, and I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to go ahead and submit. And since I was just randomly clicking on it, I've got a score of 1 on 10. I hope that you students do much better on this. I can now look at my solutions, and again it tells me where the grey ones tell me that these are questions that I did not attempt. The green ones tell me the ones that I got correct, and the red ones tell me the ones that I got incorrect, by showing me the incorrect option that I selected and the correct option for this one. And we're back. Okay, so taking on from where I left off last time, now I'd like to kind of go back and show you the other kinds of video that we have. So in this case, I showed you that we had animation videos that signified by this icon which has a bunch of kites very closely grouped together. You can see that this is our in-house content because Geneo has the same kites on it. The second kind of videos that we have are from Khan Academy. And I'm just going to...
Let's say we have a magnetic field that's coming out of the right side of the screen, and it's not just along the screen. It's actually, it's 3-dimensional, and so it's going above the screen, below, but the direction of the magnetic field.
So these are videos from Khan Academy that you can fast forward, you can rewind and watch. We also have add-ons called science experiments. So these are actual science videos that are shot in a laboratory environment.
A DC motor. Here we have some magnets, thick rubber band, batteries, insulated copper wire. Wind the wire a number of times on the battery to make a circular coil.
And these give us really good insights into the experiments that are described in your textbook.
Remove the coil carefully and secure it like this so that it does not open.
I'm going to fast forward this video, and you can go ahead and click on this and fast forward to any place. Do not forget that you can always go and change the bandwidth or the speed of the videos. If you find that the video is choppy or there's too much of buffering, please lower the videos down to a rate which is acceptable. We talked about mind maps and we talked about interactive 3D models. Now we'll come to a very interesting add-on called experiments, and I'm going to go to the chapter of electricity for this one. Now, experiments are a virtual, and you'll find them inside interactives. Experiments are a virtual laboratory environment wherein which you can create and perform different experiments for yourself. So in this case, I'm just going to start a particular experiment. You are given a particular objective in this experiment and what you have to do. If you click on instructions here, you're given again a detailed set of instructions that you can follow. And I'm going to go ahead and then just create an electrical circuit, and hopefully it'll work. You can drag and drop components and you'll find that they will snap to grid, or they will actually come and attach themselves to these red dots on the circuit board if you dragged and dropped them correctly. So I'm going to go and drag and drop a few more of these. And of course, I'm not following the instructions here as to what has to be done, but hopefully students who are watching this will. So that I can get this light bulb to glow. So hopefully if I connect the circuit, and there we go. Well, this is not the objective is something different, but you can see that I have very quickly created a circuit here from various components that are available. And of course, if you do not complete the circuit correctly, the electricity will not flow and hence the bulb will not glow. So these are again a very nice interactive way of understanding the science and understanding what is being taught in this particular chapter and following along with it. The other kinds of video that we have here that you'll see come up from time to time have a little symbol of A with an arrow on top, and these videos are teaching videos. So this means that you'll have a teacher come and explain the particular concept with a chalk or a whiteboard, and it would look a lot like a classroom video. So let me go ahead and show you what this is going to look like.
This I need one more connecting wire. Now I am going to place the negative terminal of the battery here. Now our electrical circuit is complete. Now we need to measure the voltage across this wire.
So here you have teaching videos, you have animation videos, you've got Khan Academy videos. In the add-ons you've got science experiments, you've got mind maps. In the interactives you'll have 3D models and experiments, and of course you can have assessments. So this put together broadly forms the backbone of the Geneo environment. You can also, like I said, at any point of time get context sensitive help, which will tell you what to do in this particular case, and very quickly will highlight different aspects and show you how it works. At any point of time you can give us, the Geneo team, feedback. So you can click on the little feedback button and you can select one of the pre-selected things in terms of speed, ease of use, or you can say something else and then you can go ahead and type. And you can send it across to the Geneo team, and as soon as we get your feedback, we'll get in touch with you and help you resolve this issue. This, I think, brings to an end what I'd like to talk about content. In the next section, which you can look at, this is something called My Profile. Now, My Profile basically gives you a little bit of personal information, and again, none of these are mandatory fields, but if you feel like you'd like to edit your profile, you can go ahead and select. You can go ahead and upload an image if you'd like to show us a picture of yourself. You can hit update, and now it's updated your student profile. This gives me my progress report. So in one particular single view, I can look at the status of what I have done in the various chapters in terms of the notes and the assessments that I've taken. I can further drill down to any one of these and look at all the notes that I've taken, click on any one of these notes and be able to see them in detail and edit them if I want. I can also here look at the bookmarks that I've set. In this case I've set 4 bookmarks, and I can jump directly to these bookmarks. I can look at the assessments that I've taken in each chapter, and it tells me how much I got on the assessments, and I can jump directly to those assessments and take a look at them. And the last interesting feature is mentor or teacher support. In this case, Geneo environment comes equipped with a network of teachers that are available to answer questions at any point of time. Let's go back into the Geneo environment. And since I have not selected remember my settings, I'll have to do that again. But this time I will select 10 Standard Science so that it goes directly into my textbook. And we were in the chapter of electricity. So mentor support will follow soon when I have the ability to have a mentor that I can converse with. But hopefully this video has been okay. That concludes this session of demonstration of the Geneo learning environment. I hope you had a good time, and you understood what I was trying to convey to you. Okay, that brings us to the end of this particular session of the Geneo learning environment. Please do not hesitate to give us feedback at talk to us, that's TALK, number 2, us, @geneo.in. Thank you very much.